Issue number 5. It's about my very first comic convention gathering signing, and that would be the Image Expo in San Francisco. But as I said in issue 4, I'd like to start each one talking about the corrections and the questions of the previous issue. LSQs, long-standing questions, 2 of which are prize offering questions, but let's go to things that are solved first. Paul Brannon and I agree that the green Scotch tape is the one you should use. I know they're small things, but you know, we care about them. Matte finish, magic tape. Not the red, not the blue, the green. So, long-standing questions, 2 of which are prizes. Let's go into that. First is, when Hyperion said to Corvus Glaive, consider it a gift then, what were they talking about? What issue is it? What title is it? And I know that Rainbow Red Panda knows this answer. I saw her pull list. I know that she has probably read that, and I think she probably remember that. So I'm calling you out, Rainbow Red Panda. Also, in your pull list, I saw Suicide Squad, and I wanted to let you know that in Justice League 7.1, the lenticular of Deathshot, that is actually the beginning of Suicide Squad number 24. Just so you know, Justice League of America 7.1. Now, I don't read Suicide Squad, but I saw it in your pull list, so remember, 7.1 for the For Evil tie-in. That was prize question number 1. And by the way, when I send you the prizes, it's not like going to your address. I'll send it to you, your LCS. I send my games to LGSs under your name all the time, and you'll pick them up, and it's all cool. All right, the second prize question is Justice League 20, Despero's Revenge. You know, I do this in one take. Hopefully those are in focus and you can read them. That is the Trinity War Prologue, Chapter 2. Where's the Chapter 1? Now, Spin Dash put a comment saying it's Justice League 19. Maybe. I mean, I know it doesn't say it. It definitely doesn't have the same logo you saw and says Chapter 1. In fact, it says War Games. And at the very end, it does have Despero's coming next issue. But is that Chapter 1? I mean, they didn't say it was Chapter 1. So those are the 2 prize questions. I may have to put the second one to bed, because I really don't think there is that Trinity War Chapter 1. Moving on to long-standing questions, LSQs. Showed you this last time. Question is, down here, prequel, as well as a prelude, depending on what you look at. It begins, I mean, this is the beginning of Trinity War, and it shows the cave girl, right, opening up Pandora's box. My long-standing question is what you just saw. Is that Earth 3? It certainly doesn't say it. It says Macedonia, 3000 BCE or something like that. And even to wet your whistle, Justice League 12, bringing out my hardback. Justice League 12, at the very end, there's some epilogue, and it's you know, Jeff Johns, and he has questions. You can see Pandora all grown up. And right here, the Shazam Wizard is saying, and only the strongest of heart or the darkest can open the box and claim its power. Can transform the ... ellipse. Can transform the ellipse. Very foreboding. Sounds really powerful. But then, part 6 of 6, Justice League Trinity War, part 6 of 6, Justice League 23, Evil Alfred. I gotta put a spoiler warning, aren't I? This is sort of old. These are long-standing questions. Oh, excuse! The Evil Alfred says, basically, yeah, you know, only us. Only the Earth 3s can do that. And while I'm flipping through this, that would mean that Pandora's from Earth 3. Either that, or they have no idea, or they don't plan ahead. And I guess the reason why I care about this long-standing question, Marvel does it, DC doesn't. Alright, I'm going to start speeding up here. Another long-standing question and a correction is Bloodshot. Long-standing question would be, is this Pulse? Second panel. Correction is, I kept on saying 3 years. 3 years later. It's not. It's 3 years ago, and I'm getting really close. Makes even less sense if it's 3 years. 3 years later. This is 3 years ago. Correction. Long-standing question plus a correction. Infinity. Issue number 22. Long-standing question was, Thor says it's the oldest lesson of all. I couldn't remember that correctly last time. Oldest lesson of all, which is a reference to Job, and is the very, very last page. Oldest lesson of all. Where was that said prior to this? I know it was said prior to Avengers, issue 22. I didn't know if it was Thor, God of Thunder or not. Alright, I need you guys' help, man. Someone's got to know these answers. Correction. I left out the fact that Brian's Comics in Petaluma is in the end of this survey. What was I doing? Actually, all of these corrections I've annotated in issue 4 on YouTube. So if you go and watch that on your computer, you'll see all this stuff in text up there. For some reason, it's not working on my Android mobile. Brian's Comics in Petaluma. He's the guy that fills in the holes. You know, my main is Sam Schiffler out of Blue Moon's Comics in San Rafael, and it's like, hey, I'll make the drive up. Do you have issue blankety blank? Great guy. He sleeves all of his stuff when he sells you the comics. You must just sit there and just sleeve them all day. Great guy, Brian Christensen, Brian's Comics out of Petaluma, mentioned in Saga number 17 in the survey in the back. I think that's really, really cool. And he actually responded to Brian K. Vaughan because it's Brian's Comics for all fankind. Sent him a shirt. So Brian K. Vaughan, Brian's Comics. You get my point. Another correction. Coffin Hill, the Snow Abbot, was the first to comment and say that, hey, you know what, Brian K. Vaughan Swamp Thing, it's nothing new. So therefore, it's not taking away from anything in Saga. I think I was talking about Saga number 16. So in this Coffin Hill 3, there's an ad for the Swamp Thing. And it's actually the ad for a TPB that's coming out, but he did his Swamp Thing in 2000. Volume 2 is coming out July of this year, FYI. Correction. Told you I had a lot of corrections. I said in the Punisher that when I keep these all safe in that PCW box here, I said it was going to be like 3 out of 6, and then 4 out of 6, and then it was 3 out of 5. It's not. It's actually out of 5 to 4. So you have number 1 in a 4 issue, number 2 in a 5 issue, number 3 in a 4 issue, number 4 in a 4 issue. What in the number 5 in a 5 issue? I'm sure someone learned their lesson on that one. Correction. So it wasn't 6, it was 5. Another correction, very near and dear to my heart, is the Carpe Diem quote. And Jeff Johns put it in Blackest Night, right here. I think it's Green Lantern talking, even though the action is on Sinestro. And it is Carpe Diem quam minimum credula postero. And I think I was saying Fratura, but it's postero. And that means seize the day, trusting as little as possible in the future. And right here, he even says, you know, it's a little bit too cynical. But so they always say the Carpe Diem. I really, really like the fact that Jeff Johns looked at that and said, what's the full quote? Put it in there. Because it is a little bit cynical, right? Seize the day. You know, Robin Williams, Dead Poets Society. And then there's the quam minimum credula postero. I mean, as little as possible, trust in what's coming up ahead. Correction. I said there was 3 apocalypse themes going on right now. 3. No. East of West is 1. Uncanny Avengers is 2. And I cannot remember, nor anyone else I asked, about the 3rd. If you got it in your head, this is current now, not of all time. Alright. Correction. And help. By, because I couldn't remember his name in issue 4. JKG? JCEIJI. Alright? He's the one that let me know, and the correction is that it wasn't in issue 3, it was in issue 1 that he commented and has the link for the online previews. So, you know, I was having a problem writing, and my LCS store owner doesn't, actually, Sam keeps on saying, stop using a Sharpie, man, I can't read your Sanskrit. So, JKG, he's helping me out with that link. Lastly, yeah, well, we're going to move right on. I just want to, how happy am I? That's pretty cool. If you know me and been watching these, you know how much I like Moon Knight. Bendis and Millar. Okay, now, notice, see this on the big previews, right? This is the Image Expo sampler. Bada boom, right? That's Mark Millar, but it's really Mark Millar, but really said Mark Millar. That's a very big name for those that you don't know. And remember, I'm only a year old and reading comics, so I'm trying to gather all the big names. Even saw a post like, how does this guy not know Alan Moore? So it's hard, guys. It's hard to know who's the best. I would like to go over the program guide. Started off with this. And the surprise guests. Scott Snyder, Ed Brubaker, Bill Willingham, Chris Burnham, and Kyle Higgins were the surprise guests at the Image Expo. Remember, that was my first one. I have gone to 7 different conventions around the nation, but those were gaming conventions. Boy, were they different. Alright, so I want to bring out that Ed Brubaker, Velvet. Spectacular. He's the one that made a 5-year deal with Image. They can do anything they want. Another thing is Matt Fraction was there, and I didn't know about his Casanova, but he'll be doing a new title. He's also doing Sex Criminals. Got that. I'm going to talk about that in a sec. Nick Dragotta was there, East to West artist. I'm just talking about comics, man. I don't know how to say his name. Kyron Gillian, that I sort of have a thing against on the Iron Man, number 17. Oh, and I wake up and that's the answer type thing. He's doing Wicked and Divine. That's not listed in this. And The Saviors, James Robinson, he was there. He's quite a chap, that guy. And we have Rick Remender that was saying that he's going to start off with Low, which is the underwater for many, many years, and the humans need to go back up. Sort of reminds me of Scott Snyder's The Wake, actually. And that's out of Vertigo. So Scott Snyder was there, actually, to promote his new one, Witches. And that's going to be horror. He says he really wants you to be scared when we read that. And that may be his first Image title. I don't know. Nick Spencer's Paradigms. Nick Spencer's Paradigms looks really, really cool to me. And lastly, Bill Willingham, that's done Fables and Fairest. It was tough to watch him pitch. It was almost like he drew a sketch in the back and said, this is what we're going to do, and he's going to call it Restoration. And he is explaining Jonathan Hickman's God is Dead. I mean, it seemed to be the same theme. At least I know that much to compare those two and say, hey, you know what? That's already been done, my friend. All right, so the one big difference that I learned at Image is that it's creator-owned. So, you know, you're right for the big ones. Let's just say, you know, you're Hickman, and then you have DC, and you have Marvel, or Scott Snyder. That's them both, I think. You get to own everything in Image. That's the big thing. So if you have that idea as an artist and a writer, and you go, hey, you know what, let's really do this, or I've always wanted to do this, and it doesn't fit with Superman, say, then you can put it to Image, and you actually own the content, even if it goes to movies, etc. Speaking of which, Neil Gaiman made Angela, and then they had some hiccups of that, and now Marvel owns 100% of it. interesting. That deal was done. So we're going to go into some single issues, this being one of them. So in here you had Mark Millar, Starlight, then you had The Fuse, then you had Jason Aaron, Southern Bastards, Shudder, and Remender's Low, Stray Bullets, and then a little bit of Robert Kirkham's Outcast, who is also there, by the way. Outcast may be good. I'm looking forward to Starlight, but the other ones really didn't blow me away, but we'll see what happens. You know, this is just one of those little samplers. Moving on. God, I really wanted to get to this earlier, but this is a go-to now. This is, in my mind, competing with how much I love Saga and Why the Last Man and Invincible, etc. It's Ed Brubaker. It's really this Epting and the coloring by Elizabeth Bright Wiser. Fabulous. It's picturesque. You watch it and you read it, and it's a great storyline. This is going to be, this is going to take people by storm. Issue number 3 is out, by the way. Manifest Destiny. I get Image Expo Exclusives. You know, Plant Zombies. Here we come to the Lewis and Clark expedition. A lot of people are enjoying this. I'm not really getting it. As to why it would be so big. I think it's funny that they use Boniface as a name, and that reminds me of Shadow Man in Valiant Universe. Manifest Destiny, Image Expo exclusive. Pretty Deadly, Kelly Sue DeConnick, who's the wife of Matt Fraction. I'm liking it. It's going somewhere. This is issue number 1. Yes. And, you know, it reminds me of the East of West. That's Dragotta and, God, Jonathan Hickman. Death falls in love, you know, with beauty. Same type of thing there. I want to check on that just so I don't have to do. Great. East of West hardcover is the only thing I got from the Image Expo, and I can't tell what the writer is. God. Anyway, speaking of which, I don't go to a convention to wait in line. What the hell is that about? You know, they had like the symposium, and then there was just 2 huge lines that people were just camping out for hours just to get sick. Not me. Okay, now we're going to start speeding up. Earth Galactic Hero Operatives. Egos. A little bit too much inking around in this. They set a good story. They got the old guys going out and the new guys coming in, sort of reminding me of Watchmen. But I mean, this is sort of fun in space superheroes. Going to Black Science. A lot of people are liking this. There's a guy whipping around a frog's head that has lightning out of it. I think what I liked about it, even though it's Remender and it has a lot of family things and sun undertones, family. He always has that family undertone type of thing in some sort of weird world in a different circumstance. Very much like Dimension Z, Captain America. Art gives me a little bit of a headache, but it's a good storyline. This is Black Science. Let me say something right now. The difference between what I'm doing now versus other people and pull lists and stuff like that, I've read these and I'm giving you a little bit about them. It's not like I got this. Both that stacks over there. Sex Criminals, they stopped the symposium and said, hey, everyone that's reading Sex Criminals, clap. And then, like, you know, Fraction's like, I see the people that aren't clapping. I'd be one of them. But this is Image, Sexpo variant. Just like the Black Science was Image Expo exclusive. What do I have to say about this? The synopsis on the internet. It says Sex Criminals. It's about took away the value of this. The reveal of this particular issue at the end was the best part. The fact that they have the synopsis is the synopsis is a spoiler. That's what I'm trying to say. Almost done, people. Ghosted. I know I heard a lot about this and how great it was, and this was going to be the next big thing. And I think this is the Image Expo exclusive. You know, I'm not buying it. He breaks out of prison. He's not exactly the best guy around. Sort of reminds me of Constantine, actually. This is the this is the Image Constantine. That's it for now. I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter and get more issues in. I have a stack that I've already read to talk to you about, DC and Marvel, as well as all the stuff that I just got yesterday. Again, thank you so much. Comments. I like comments, and I'm not doing Facebook stuff like that. All right? I just don't want to deal with all that stuff. Power of the Game. Packs of Rank. Go to www.powerofthegame. answer those 2 questions, get a Thor, and it's not, I want to see the logo. Spin friend, spin data. I want to see that logo. That was Trinity War and then Chapter 1, okay? Thanks again. Bye-bye.